mining education is one of those things that people have been mining left, right, and center. Now, Makerere University holding its 76th graduation with 9,295 students being accorded their degrees, their PhDs, as well as their diplomas and masters, to mention but a few. But there's one unique case that we have been able to land on. This is a case of an engineering student who's been uptaking his studies for the last 10 years. Today, he's an inspiration because he is being shortlisted to graduate in the 76th ceremony at Makerere University. And one thing that this should remind us, yes, it will give you some hope, it will give you some inspiration, but it should tell you that it is better to try and fail. Because going at it for 10 years, my friend, that means that there's some failing moments that they have experienced in there, but they persisted, and today they're going to be graduating as an engineer. However, if you don't try, then you're guaranteed you are going to fail.
Thank you very much for being an esteemed audience of NTV. A total of 8,432 graduates will be graduating during the 76th graduation ceremony of Makerere University. And of course, this is a ceremony that will run from, 24th of February 2026 to 27th of February 2026. And this will see graduates from different fields being officially ushered into the job market. Interestingly, one person that will join the total number of the 8,432 graduates this time is Eunice Lubega, a student who was suspended in 2022 after some violent cases unfolded at the university. But of course, one interesting part about his journey is that his academic journey has been with a lot of hurdles. I today want to strike some conversation and narrow a scope of this particular discussion on his academic journey and his experience at Makerere University. Students named him as Jaja. We shall also want to know what does this particular name carry in terms of the meaning, and perhaps what has been his experience of studying for more than 10 years for a course that would have initially taken him 5 years to complete. Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, from the entire Morning at NTV crew, one say that congratulations that now you're a graduate, you're waiting to graduate.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell us, you did a course. This is a course initially which was supposed to take you 5 years to complete and being ushered into the job market. Why did it take you more than 10 years to pursue this course?
Well, my course is Bachelor of Architecture. Itself, it's actually interesting. It has a course unit, a specific course unit called Design Portfolio. This particular course unit, it's referred to as a prerequisite, and when you get a retake in this particular course unit, you actually get an extra year. So the reason as why I spent 10 years is because in different years, that's year 1, year 2, year 3, I used to get this particular retake. And for in some years actually I got it twice a year. So, for example, in year 2, I got it twice. Then I got it in year 1. Briefly, I got it in year 1. And I qualified for the 6 years automatically. And then I went to year 2 and got it twice. In first semester, then second semester. But then I went on and studied and then moved to third year. Then I got it twice in third year. But then in third year, there was a time I had decided to actually concentrate on my books and study and move on with some class that graduated in 2025. But I think I missed a presentation and I got this retake. It broke me down so much, and I actually cried so much and called my relatives, particularly my sister in Sweden, called Viola. Then I told her about how I was going to quit, and she reminded me of the reasons as why I joined the university and why I'm still pursuing the degree, architecture itself.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe I want to interest myself. You joined Makerere in
Yes.
2016. I'm sure you should have gone through a lot of experiences and, of course, drawing lesson from your resilience and
Yeah.
passion for this particular course. You did pursue this course, and finally you are getting off from the university into the job market.
Yes.
Let's first get back to the 2022 incident.
Yes.
When your name was all over media.
Yes.
About a suspension
Yes.
which was given to you at the university, and of course this automatically meant that you should have spent 6 months at home.
Yeah.
Tell us what surrounded this entire suspension story.
Oh, well, for the suspension, I believe I wasn't supposed to get it. And by 2022, those are some of the years I had decided, by the way, to concentrate on my studies, go to class, let go of the university activities, the whole activities, and student politics. But then there comes this time. It was one night. There's a neighboring hall. I used to sleep in Mitchell, by the way. So there was a neighboring hall called University Hall. So I think they had a parade night at the School of Education. So when these guys were returning, the University Hall people, when they were returning, they sang the anthem around Mitchell. To us, the whole people and the whole culture, it was an abomination. So
For another cock to come and ride your home.
yes, it's like these guys had actually broke a rule. So in my capacity as Yunus, they used to refer to me as Jaja ancestor, because I had spent a long time at the university, even in Mitchell itself. So in my capacity as a judge, I was like, let me get out and try to calm the situation down. So when I got out, I think there was someone who didn't know me, because very many people knew me. People couldn't beat me. It was impossible. So someone that didn't know me, I think, he punched me, and it was a huge blow to me. I actually couldn't report to Mitchellites that I was beaten. It would lower my esteem and ranks as a judge. So I went back to the quadrangle. I remember I told one friend about it, Chiimba. And what Chiimba did is post in our whole group. It's called the Rat Guard Brigade. It's like a brigade. We consider it as a brigade. And Chiimba posted in the group that Yunus has been beaten. And to them, it was actually a very huge thing. And they took it so serious. Though I got the medical assistance from a doctor friend, but then events later on escalated from that. Here we saw people, students, Mitchellites, attacking the university hall people, and then they broke their windows, they beat up people, they created roadblocks. Man, it was some bad chaos. And that night I wasn't around. That's the truth. That night when the Mitchellites attacked UH, I wasn't around, and got calls from the police, from the university hall chairman. They were telling me about how I took people to the streets and beat up university hall students, which was not the case.
Maybe let's look at, this is quite interesting, let's look at now the cost implication. Of course, at university, you can run 2 activities simultaneously.
Of course.
You were trying to see the political aspect of campus life and also vis-a-vis the academic aspect, which is the primary goal of you being at the university.
Of course.
In terms of now the cost implication, what are we talking about here? How much did you spend in total, and how were you able to sustain yourself for all these 10 years?
Well, I consider myself as one of the luckiest people in the world, because back then in 2016 I was admitted into architecture and University Makerere, but then my parents were struggling financially. That's the truth. So I didn't know where actually tuition could come from. But I persisted and read about the students' loan scheme, applied for it, and actually got it. Yes. So I had started school before I was a beneficiary, but thank God I had hope and started before the list actually came out.
Finally, you are going to be amongst those who will be graduating on Friday. You're graduating on Friday?
Yes, I'm graduating on Friday, 27th.
So how do you feel that finally you're leaving the hills?
Man.
That is how it's always called. You're finally leaving the hills. How do you feel? What has been the bad and good experiences surrounding your 10 years studies at Makerere University?
Actually, man, graduating to me, it feels so good. First of all, it's fulfilling. You know, you sit down and you're like, man, I made it. I've made it after all these years. But then there's also that pride that comes with graduating. And then some other thing is the fulfillment you make because I actually dedicate this graduation to my parents, my mother, my siblings, then my friends. I've been receiving very many congratulatory messages, and people are happy, genuinely happy about my graduation. So
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. This has been the conversation with Eunice Lubega,
Yes.
who is a student who completed from Makerere University. He happens to be amongst the 8,432 graduates who will be graduating.
Yes.
For the interest of time, allow me to say that this is where we end with the conversation. And of course, we shall keep bringing you time to